Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. A rainy morning here. It's Thursday, November the 29th, the year 2012. Continuing on why the government hates preppers. See, preppers wouldn't be hated if they just stuck to prepping. You know, if all they did was store rice and beans and even bullets and band-aids, government really wouldn't hate us so much. But the thing is, preppers also, for the most part, they educate themselves. They look at what the government's doing. And in most cases, they don't like it. Some cases, they take action. Government doesn't like that. They really don't. I mean, preppers sometimes organize, approach government and say, hey, we don't like this. We want you to change. We want things to change around here. We don't like the way you're spending our money. The government's opposed to that. Also, preppers educate themselves on what's really going on in the world, not just what the media tells us. No, they watch YouTube videos, they read books, they study, they talk to people. They have discussions about what's going on, and they look for the truth and the reality of matters. They do something else. A lot of preppers homeschool. They get the old textbooks and actually teach the kids how to read and write. And they teach them history. Most part, they don't teach them the government-approved history. They teach them what really happened. I mean, George Orwell in the book 1984 really nailed it. Things that are going on. He said, I've been around the sun over 50 laps, 56 and a half just about to be precise. And when I look at a history book from a high school today, and I see how they portray the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, it's not how I remember, and trust me, don't do drugs, never did, so the faculties are pretty clear. I might not remember everything, I might get a few things wrong, but for the most part, I remember what happened. And I tell you, it's not the way history books paint it, that's for sure. So, those are just a couple of more reasons why the government hates preppers. Tell me what you think. Maybe you don't agree with that. But the government sees that there's a movement. This prepper thing probably isn't going to go away anytime soon. You know, the Y2K, that was here and gone. And they pretty much destroyed, you know, the survivalists. And you don't really hear much about survivalists because they all have been relabeled preppers. A little more socially acceptable would be called a prepper. Of course, we've got some TV shows out there trying to make preppers look ridiculous, trying to get the average American, the average TV watching American to not want to be a prepper, because these guys are, preppers are lunatics, walking around carrying guns and living in bunkers and worrying about all these catastrophes that probably won't happen. See, they'll never show a prepper who was prepared for something like Hurricane Sandy and what happened in the Northwest. Now, you won't see that on TV. No, you won't see somebody that weathered the storm and came out okay because they took action before, so they didn't freeze to death or starve to death or catch some disease because they didn't have fresh water. No, you won't hear that story. least I doubt it in the mainstream media. Same thing with guns. Very rarely do you see the story where somebody saved a life because they had a gun, whether or not they used it. Now you'll just see when somebody goes on a rampant killing spree, so they can once again use that as an excuse to take away our Second Amendment rights. So once again, reasons why the government hates preppers. And let me know if you think I might have missed some, because I'm sure the list could be pretty long when you really think about it. But I think I've touched on the main points. It's possible I missed one. But they don't like us, or they actually hate us, because we get involved politically, and we're teaching our children the truth, the reality of the matter. Not just take that pill that the government's trying to shove down our throats. So fellow preppers, remember, if you fail to prepare today, you might not be able to prepare tomorrow.